This is our Cat 535D Skidder, the one that we just got. And I've had a few comments that people want walk-arounds of the equipment. So let's do our walk-around with this Cat 535. Okay, this skidder has been really good for us. We haven't put a lot of hours on it. Our other 535, one issue with the def. Other than that, that thing's ran strong. And this one runs really good. It don't have a lot of hours on it, but it's got your fans blowing this way through here. That's what that's about. And what they do on all these skidders is they put the motor out front. It's all about weight. It's all about when you're dragging a bundle back here, they want that motor stuck out there in the front so you got more weight and all the weight displacement. So we can see the motor here tucked right in the front, and they want that, see your front axle? They want that in front of your front axle tucked down in here. And I mean, it's right down, it's right down in there, the bottom of it, so that you got a lot of weight up here in the front. And it is just, the way it's designed is really, really nice. So this one does have a block heater on it. Our other one does not, and we don't use block heaters out here. But you can kind of see what we got going on. They got everything kind of crammed in here, and I'll show you on the other side why they have that. But here's your motor here. That's a C7.1 in here, running 225 horsepower, tucked in there. Right here you got your batteries. This is a 24 volt system on there. So underneath here, down in there, you got two batteries connected together. That's how 24 volt runs. They changed the blade from the C series to the D series. That was a big complaint with the old skidders. They did put a pin through there so you don't bust those off. If you're aware of that, you know what I mean. You just got a simple blade on the front and a simple guard. This thing's a little dirty. Now, over here, let me explain why this is dirty. See all this bark along here? Josh is gone today and he didn't do a good job of cleaning this off. You got bark right there, and that's because when you push the bark out from underneath that chipper, way over there, you got the conveyor with the bark coming off. It's on this side, so you get it filled up. I'm on its case every week to clean it off. These are nice to have right here too on this blade. It gives you good step holes when you got to work on something. They're nice. So, and over here is the other side of the motor, and right here is your def tank. A lot of people afraid of the def system. We just dove in, give her a whirl. What the heck, right? So we jumped in. This is your pump for the def, and it pumps it all up into there. I don't know if you can see the injector up there, but that whole thing right there is all your exhaust system in this thing. We had a little glitch in our other one. Cat took it back, and it's run flawlessly ever since. So whatever they did to it, I don't know. Don't really care because it runs perfect now. As far as servicing this machine goes, I mean, right there you can pretty much see it. You got your oil filter, you got your fuel filter, and your water separator right here. Cat tried to design that. I mean, obviously a simple, doing an oil change on this thing is easy. I mean, all you got to do is drop that panel there, and there's a plug in the bottom way down there. It's pretty simple. And drain the oil out of that thing, and while you're doing that, pop this out and do your fuel filters. It don't take but 15-20 minutes to do oil change fuel filters on this thing. because you have everything crammed into this little area, they put all these right here, and it makes it really, really nice. So, and here's your, come on, a couple grease zerks there for your axle and your steer bushings in the front. And the steer bushings on this, if you've ever had to deal with some of the older Deers, they just tried to update everything on these, and they're getting them pretty dialed into where everything's easier to work on. And this one is no exception. They did a darn good job of making everything easier. Right here's your air filter above that. How easy is that? Got that all nice protected in there. And then here's the other side of your fan there. So pretty simple. It's got 30.5s on this one and 35.5s on our other 535. I'll do that video when I get time of the differences between the two tires, because there is big pros and big cons to each of them, and it all just whatever you're doing. And it's interesting to see the two different machines run and how that works. Even running them, it's a little different. Hydraulic fluid level, you can see real easy. Tried to put that right next to the cab so the operator doesn't have excuses to not check it. Here's your tranny right here. Check your fluid there. Now the steer bushing, I showed you that grease zert way up there. This steer cylinder comes to right here, and you just pop this guard off, you pull a pin. We haven't taken them off from this one, we haven't taken them off the other 535. We have taken them off the 545C that we have, and worked on that. Not on these new ones, but they are so easy to get to. I mean, it's so nice, because if you run an old Deer or an old Timberjack, you know how hard those are to work on. They fixed them in these. There's your drive shaft there. I mean, the older Skidders we got, those are twice as big right here, and this is a smaller size Skidder. They just beefed everything up on these, Cat did. Everything's real simple going back there. There's no shank-tangle hoses. Everything's designed to be simple on this. You got your winch here, your winch, hydraulically driven. Okay, if you know them older, some other Skidders will have a drive shaft above that drive shaft to work the winch. They got hydraulically driven on this, and they're nice, and they got power. That's the main thing that we care about. The 545, I will say, has more power. That's got a little different style went on there because it's an older series. That thing will pull the front end off of a truck if you wanted it to. I mean, that thing flat out pulls. But this one does just a fine job too. All kinds of power. Got your valve bank here for all your action back here. And we haven't worked on any of this stuff on the new one, and that's got over 4,000 hours on it, I think, or right around 4,000. On the other 535, we haven't been in there at all. Everything still works nice, and we haven't had the hoses up there are all real simple. Haven't had to work on those at all. It's just designed. We run 1-inch cable on ours. That one was on here when we got this Skidder, so that's what we got going on here. Grapple. I went over this in some other videos, how Cat redesigned this in the other Skidder video. Our other older John Deeres, there's no fit. The hose goes up into here. Absolute no fun to change, but Cat made it so you could change these. We had to change Paulies a month ago maybe. It just got wore out because they wear. See, these are both, one of Paulies was rubbing against this right here, and they rounded that off pretty good, but it rubbed a hole in it, It took us 15 minutes to change it, to take it off and make a new one. It was real simple. They made them a lot simpler. And these Grapples got all the power in the world. I mean, they work great for what we got to do. And you can see just how wide those things are. They go out, is it 127 inches, I believe? From tong to tong when you open her up. Nice plate here to get in there and work. There's no plate underneath it. Good and bad about that. But they got nice big plates here to get in there and work on stuff. We haven't had to work on anything. Here's another thing that they did change in between the C and the D series. If you have a C series cat, you know what happens. They had the fittings, or at least the 545 we have did. The fittings, or your hoses on top of your cylinders right there, they had them on the bottom of the old ones. And what happened was that far end down there, that far end would be on the bottom. So what you'd have is right here, you'd have a fitting coming out of that cylinder and a hose run along through here to connect over to here. What happens is we had an operator getting some mud pushed down, and he got a bunch of mud up in here, and it packed full of mud in there, and then it froze like 2 nights later, and that was a mess. Getting in there, and it's all froze, and the fittings are busted because the cylinders do move a little bit, and it froze in there and busted them all up. That was no fun. So Cat changed that on this, and that fitting is right here underneath this guard. It's nice, really nice. So that's kind of the outside of the skidder. I mean, they designed these babies to go over anything. That's what you got going on underneath it. It's just a giant steel frame, man, and just a big old frame. So they don't want nothing getting up in there, which is what we want too. So let's go in the cab here. Now, one thing they did change on this too, you can see out the back of these finally. I know a lot of people were talking about that when we got the other skidder. Can't see, can't see, can't see. They took the guards off and they put some nice solid Lexan or whatever you want to call it in there. And they just took the windshield wipers off. I mean, windshield wipers are about pointless on these if you ask me, because all they do is break off, and then you hit the button on accident and they just scrape up your windshield. So anyways, you got your water hose here in case you have a fire. We usually don't fill those back up because we're in the middle of winter. There's still some water in there, but I mean, if you're on a real place where it's dry, I'm sure those are great to have. Probably really important to have those in certain areas. So this is the inside of the skidder. I'm not sure how many hours it had on it. I wanted to look. Anyways, I don't need none of that. Give me the hours. 638 on this machine. Like I said, the other 535D that's running probably 4,000 by now. But it's just a simple, there's not a whole lot going on in here. It's nothing really, but that's the main thing is out back. You can see now where if you have the grates like this that are on the other skidder that we haven't taken off, they don't have this heavy duty glass, so we haven't taken them off. And Paul doesn't really mind it. Paul says whatever, I don't care, so we're not in no big hurry to change it. But you can see a lot better. And one thing Cat did change too, in even from this one to our 535, the other 535D we have, is they separated these levers. And I found this out last week. We had an ice storm. This is your blade lever here, and then this is your winch lever here. And what happened is they put them in Paul's skidder. They're right next to each other, so you have two levers right here. And not a good operator like me jumped in there, and I was blading that ice road off, and I thought I was hitting the blade lever, but I was actually pulling that in instead of hitting the lever. And so what they did is, since that skidder, they've separated them and put a cup holder in the middle. So that helps you out big time. It helped me out big time because I'm an idiot. But. And then the changing from the other skid, the D to this, they put this right in the seat, and they redesigned the seat too. They did a whole thing on the seat. I've seen a video. There's a video on YouTube about this new seat and how it's better than the older seats. But I mean, it's just pretty self-explanatory skidder. If you have one, you know what all this is about. So, and I mean, there's your lights front and back. They got them separate. Parking brake. I always forget the name of this. I can't ever remember. Torque converter and a seat belt. You can shut that off. You bounce out of the seat, and it'll kick everything off. So you try and safety first. And then you can lock your front and rear end independently, which is kind of nice sometimes. But I don't know. They got cup holders everywhere in here. And the funny part is, Tom drove this morning. He's got Pepsi here and coffee in the back one. So I guess you're right, Cat. I get more than one is important. So, anyways, that's this Cat 535D that we have. That's a quick walk around. It's the only thing I can think of to show. Want to see any more? Leave a comment below, and I'll see if we can get that done. So, but this thing, it works perfect for us. I mean, it's no 555. I have yet to see one. I'd like to run one for about 5 minutes. That's it. But I'd like to see one because I know they're monsters. So, anyways, that's the 535D walk around. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's start her up, and you can hear how she just purrs. It's quiet. This thing is quiet. Never jump out of equipment. All you can hear is a fan, and it's like that when you're running it anywhere. You can hear that slasher running back there the same, just as you can this. That DEF system makes them quiet, and like everybody likes to say out here, that way you can sneak up on the bundles. But no, about went down. That's it right there. She don't got no loud growl to her. And when you floor it, all you hear is that fan go a little faster. Just that new system, but it is nice to have quiet machines running. But that's why I need the backup alarm.